So, Jim, when you first captured that video, when you just happened to be in Lebanon, Missouri, uh, did you know that there was a UFO flap going on, or did you
Actually,
just
I hadn't.
go ahead?
I'm sorry. Actually, I had no idea anything was going on at all. We were just on our yearly vacation in Lebanon, and brought the night vision goggles. I knew that it was going to be a dark night with very little light pollution, and I was just hoping to capture some. I was really there just looking for some satellites or something that would maybe stop in midair or change directions. I didn't anticipate really filming or catching anything. I was just going on a hope.
Wow, wow! That was just great luck. For the folks at home, Jim has made quite an investment on some night vision goggles, and that's the video you're about to see is how Jim captured that. Jim, can you talk a little bit? Excuse me. Can you talk a little bit about these night vision goggles and how they work?
Sure. I mean, I'm not an expert by any means on it, but they basically use an intensifier tube, and the intensifier tube magnifies the electrons that are being seen visibly and amplifies those. The different goggles, for example, my particular set can amplify light in upwards of 60,000 times its normal magnification. So I can see a lit cigarette from 2 miles away. It's very, very clear. It's like a spotlight being turned on.
Wow.
So basically, and they are military. They're originally designed for the military, but these are an older set. They're called PVS 7s. And anybody can buy a set of these. You just can't export them out of the country. They'll run about $3,000, and then you just need to get a little handy cam or some type of small video camera to attach it to one of the eyepieces. It's a binocular with a single eyepiece on the end. So you look through two tubes, two eyepieces, and you're actually converging into one tube on the outside.
Gotcha.
And then this particular video, I was using a 3x.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pull up that.
lens.
I'm going to pull up the video right now so folks can watch it. So go ahead. While they're watching, you can explain what this is. This is I believe this is the long version here that I'm showing folks.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. The long version is actually probably answers a lot more questions, I think, than the shorter version. A lot of people have asked me, why did I just stop filming it? And the answer was it continued 2.5 more minutes longer than the first video that I've shown you. And it went through a set of a tree line, and it went out of sight. So I couldn't continue to film it anymore. But I did record it from start to finish, so you can see where it started and where it ended up.
Yeah. Now, when we're looking at this thing, 4 bright, I guess, white lights. So not like a triangle, but like a square, I guess you would say, or diamond shaped, depending on which way it was headed. But then there's also, you have some enhanced still shots of this object. And when I look at those, it sure seems like to me there's some type of interconnecting body to these 4 lights. Is that your thought or what?
Yes, sir. Originally I thought it was a plane. And then, a couple of seconds into the the recording of the video, I realized that, this something doesn't look quite right. So that's why I kept filming it. And then when it basically got over top of me is when I could make out, the 4 separate lights that were, positioned identically the same amount apart from each other. And I could actually see through the video, I couldn't really see an outline, if you will. Like I didn't see any triangular shape or anything. It just looked to me like it was a triangle or square, flying through the air with these 4 bright lights on it. And then of course you can see what I guess I'm calling it navigation lights, but whatever these 3 white lights are that are flashing. Of course, in night vision, there is no color. So, unfortunately, I did not view this object with my own eyes up close. So I can't tell you, what color these lights were. But the video, I think, kind of speaks for itself. It does appear to be a plane at first, and it's been written off as a plane by many UFOologists. But it's also been pointed out that it is not a commercial plane that anybody is aware of, and it doesn't appear to be a plane structure.
No,
it has.
Like I told you before, Jim. When I've just never seen a plane that looks like that. I'm sorry, and as we talked about, I think these people that are saying it's a plane are only watching the first few seconds and saying, this is a plane, because it gets much more defined as the video goes on, right?
Yes, it does. I mean, you can clearly see the front, especially like if you look at those pictures. I mean, I can make out in the video just on a regular 17-inch monitor that you can see some physical structure between the light on the front and the light on the rear. Something going through there. And if you watch the enhanced video, or even the enhanced video that actually changes the dark surfaces to pink and the light surfaces to a bright pink, you can actually see the stars passing through the physical frame of this object. So as this object is flying through the air, you can see the stars appear, before the object and appear through the object, and then they disappear as it hits something solid and then reappear again. And you can, it's definitely not a plane. If it is, it's something that we've never seen before.
Exactly. Now this happened, or you caught this video on the 26th of May, correct?
I put the video out on the morning of the 27th. I put it out there.
Yeah, but what day was it when you captured it? Because I guess it was.
It was the 26th, the morning of the 26th. It was around around almost 5 o'clock a.m.
Jim, you had sent me some links asking me to check these out because they looked very much like what you captured. And I tell you, I went and looked at those, and I'm gonna bring these up on the screen too. But the one over Mount Bisbino in Italy, that looks exactly like what you captured.
Yeah, it does look like that, and I've been, trying to search for pictures ever since this has happened. And
now, Jim, some of these other ones that you sent me that appeared to be much like what you captured, the one in Medford, Oregon in July of 2012. There was one in New Zealand back in 2008 that looks a lot like it. And that one in Italy, that was just in January of 2012. Very, very similar to what you caught. I'm just wondering, if those are a well-known shape throughout the UFO community or not. Have you received any feedback, Jim, in regards to that, or?
I've reached out to probably 25 to 30 people that are well known in the field. Bill Burns and Jose Escamilla, Ken Pfeiffer. I haven't heard back from some of these people, but I think Ken Pfeiffer, you had him on your show not too long ago.
Right.
And he basically made the comment that it's, in his opinion, it's definitely a UFO. It's not anything that he's seen before. And of course, these are just opinions from people, but these opinions have to carry some weight because they've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of videos before. They've been in the field, researching things like this, and that's pretty much what they do day in and day out. So I would say more than out of the 10 or 15 responses that I have received back, more than 70% of the people have commented that this is something very unusual. It's certainly not an aircraft that they're familiar with or have seen before, although it appears to replicate an aircraft. And but Ken Pfeiffer made the statement that it would be, if we are being visited by, something, it would be in their best interest to replicate our current technology and hide in plain sight. Because when you see something flashing, you just automatically assume it's an airplane and you stop looking. So, he made a good statement, and that's, I think, whatever this is doing. It's replicating, it's mimicking an aircraft, trying to disguise itself in plain sight.
Now, I think one thing that's really cool on your YouTube page is that you actually have, I believe, 3 samples of looking at an airplane flying by with your night vision goggles, so people can actually see what an actual plane looks like, and then they can compare it. And there's just no comparison.
I had a lot of the comments that I've had were, "It's a plane, it's a plane." And then I had people. One of the UFOologists that I emailed said, "Well, take a picture of a plane with your night vision goggles and see what it looks like." And I had already seen what a plane looks like through night vision. I've been using the night vision goggles for almost a year now. Several times a month, I'll go out and just sit for hours, and so I knew that this wasn't a typical airline plane shape. But what I did was I put them out on the website just so people can see them, and because I'm trying to, I even put the raw data out there so someone could download it, because naysayers are like, "Well, let me look at the video. I don't believe what I see."
Yeah. Now wait a minute. We forgot to talk about, you requested some information via the Freedom of Information Act, right?
I did. I got the data from the FAA, or the I guess it's from the National Transportation Board, NTSB, I believe is what it is. And I do have the data. I just don't know how to read it.
Well, now what did you request? What was the actual request?
The request that I sent in was for radar data over Lebanon, Missouri, from 4:30 a.m. to 5:15 a.m. on the morning of 5/26. So, whatever data I have, I don't know what it's going to show. Unfortunately, they provide it to you in a binary form, which is just a bunch of numbers, basically. Mm-hmm. And unless you know how to read that stuff, it looks like a foreign language. So I did contact Margie Kay from MUFON, mm-hmm. and she said she has some contacts that would be able to possibly piecemeal the data together. And so I'm in contact with her. I'm waiting for her response so I can find out who to send the information to. It's a real small data file, but when you look at it on a notepad form on the computer, you don't know what you're looking at.
Right, right.
So,
well, I know Margie has just been completely busy. I know she told me, and this was a few days ago, I got an email from her. She told me that they had received 18 reports in the first week of July, and just amazing amounts of activity. Amazing. Well, let us know. Keep us in the loop if you do get that radar data deciphered, and I'd love to hear what it was that they say was out there. Jim, how about you? What's your final thoughts for the night on what these things could possibly be? I don't think any of us are saying they're little green men and they're on their way to get us. That's not what we're here to talk about. Although it's possible. What are your thoughts, Jim? You've been doing this a while as well. Or
That's
do
a tough
you?
question, to be honest with you. I mean, I have my idea. I mean, I believe wholeheartedly that what I'm seeing is something that's probably not from this planet. And I know that may sound strange,
no,
but I'm a realist, and I don't believe we're the only people out here. I think that I think the federal government, governments of this planet, are covering up the fact that we have been visited and continue to be visited. There's only a few governments that have released information. I think France and Britain are the two I can think offhand that have released, solid UFO files that, show that we have been visited by some sort of craft or that were not man-made. Mm-hmm. So, that's just, whether we're ever going to be able to prove that theory or not, I'll probably be long gone by then. I think it's going to take, 40, 50, 60 years before, our United States government comes out of the closet about these things.
Right. Well, a lot of people think that disclosure is something that basically has already happened. The fact that there is so much data out there regarding UFOs, the question is no longer do they exist. It's, who are they and what do they want?
I hate to interrupt you, but I was just going to tell you that there was a MUFON report on June the 8th that was submitted, and Margie may be able to tell you who the submitter was, but it says date of event was October 15th, 2011 at 6:30 p.m., and the short description is pyramid square bottom shaped with 4 bright lights on bottom corner edges was submitted. And after reading over this, the last sentence says, last week, May 2012, I saw on the news lights above Missouri and saw the video footage and immediately recognized the 4 square lights as the same lights I saw on October 15th, 2011. I know I saw a UFO, I know I'm not crazy, and I know others seen it too. and then he has a description of where he was and what he was doing at the time.
Well, listen, Jim.
Somebody else is seeing it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. One question I forgot to ask you: when you were taking that night shot of the pyramid or diamond-shaped 4-lighted object, can you remember which direction it was traveling?
Yes, I actually at the time I did not remember, but I went back out the next. Basically, I was out there from about 10 p.m. until 5 a.m., 5:30. The object itself was traveling southeast. It was coming towards me southeast, and it was heading northwest. So I was looking southeast, and it was traveling basically, over top of me, heading northwest. That's one of the things that is frustrating, because people say, well, it's not a UFO because it didn't stop in the midair, it didn't change direction abruptly, and it didn't speed off at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
I didn't know that was a prerequisite.
I didn't know that was either, but but just because it didn't do one of those three things does not mean it's not considered an unidentified flying object.
Exactly.
Until it's identified, it's not. It is considered an unidentified flying object in the sense of it's a UFO. But
absolutely,
a lot of people take that out of context.
Yep.
So. But who knows? I'm planning our next trip out to Missouri, probably in August, and we're going to be making sure that it's a new moon, so there's no light sources around, and I got the video cameras and all that stuff ready to go.
Hey, maybe I'll fly out there. We can get Robbie, and we'll all three see what we can capture.
What a lot of people don't realize is that I was in the middle of an 80-acre farm, and the closest neighbor is a quarter mile away through the woods.
That's a great place to be. No light pollution. Jim, thanks for the new information and the new video, and we'll continue watching this. And if it continues to happen, we'll continue to update it.